Hey, 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 welcome in, everyone. Do not adjust your sets. This is not a mistake. We have decided to go live the day before arguably the biggest game for really both teams this season. Alabama taking on Oklahoma tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Central and Bryant-Denny Stadium. A lot is on the line for both teams. Some is more severe than others, but either way, it's going to be quite the contest. I'm Justin Riley. Go ahead before we get started, as y'all start to come in here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're in the live chat today, let's hear from you. Get some questions in. We're going to create an opportunity for you to ask a few. And then if you're watching in the replay, get in the comment section below. Let us know how you feel. Share some love to us. We always love to hear from the fans, whether you agree, disagree. Engagement is welcome. Again, I'm Justin Riley, host of the Bama Standard. And listen, y'all probably going to argue with me because, quite frankly, the only thing you want to see is a perspective from the Alabama side of things. Well, you know what, folks? I'm doing you a disservice if I don't give you a full outlook of what to expect from each team. So today, I got a friend of mine, Jay from Unfair Sports, one of the leading authorities when it comes to Oklahoma Sooner football. We have worked together before doing different things. This is the first time you've been on our network. Either way, man, I'm excited to have you on. Welcome in, brother.
Justin, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. It's been a very stressful week, just because the thought process of a game that has so much implications. I'm excited to talk some ball, man. Just kind of that always woo-saws me, is the ability to sit there and just talk ball.
So that's kind of your therapy. Is that
Oh
what
yeah,
you're
100%. It's 100%. It mainly because it's my narcotic of choice, and so because of that, I always get that dopamine hit when I'm talking ball.
Hey, we all have our methods. For me, the closer we get to the game, the anxiety level goes up. And
Mm-hmm.
until it's all settled on the field, I'm not feeling relaxed at all. But like you said, when we get to talk about it, it kind of eases things down just a little bit. And it also helps us put things in perspective because right now we're really just feeding off of emotion, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's what we are. We're running off that adrenaline and emotion, and now we need to kind of sit back and kind of take more of a analytical approach. Not really just fully using analytics, but really take down and really think about what's going on and what can happen, what can't happen, and what the possibilities are. It's the best part about sports, is because it's live. There's so many possibilities that can happen, and the question is who can control what their controllables are to get that win.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, but before we get to business, let's discuss the whole experience. This isn't your first time to an Alabama game. We talked a little bit before we got on. What have you really got a chance to experience there, food wise and just sightseeing wise? And if I need to provide a little extra help, that's what I'm here for, brother.
Great. And people in the comments do the same. I've been to Tuscaloosa before, kind of as me and Justin talked about. I went to one of the third Saturday in October games between y'all and Tennessee. It was awesome. I've always wanted to be in the environment. Will always want to be in the atmosphere, because I love going to rivalry games when I can. I am a student and a lover of college football, on top of being a fan of team and said teams. So for me, it's all about enjoying just the environment and atmosphere. And so Bryant-Denny's been awesome. I didn't do a lot of exploring. Drove in from Birmingham, made a couple stops, got some food a little bit. But I would love all the suggestions you have, because I am a foodie. That's the other best part about going to college football games in these nice college towns, is the food's always elite.
Hey, we already got a few people chiming in. We got
Great.
Tyler Sill, and it's free Irish gold tenders. Now, I'm not sure if you're into the whole bar scene, but if that's something you like to do, Innisfree is arguably the number one bar in Tuscaloosa. Great atmosphere, great food, as Tyler is volunteering right now. But yeah, if that's what you're looking for, that's your first stop. For me personally, listen, I got breakfast for you. You need to go to the
Mm,
Waysider Saturday morning. I'm going to tell you right
the
now,
Waysider.
the Waysider, it's historic. That's where Bear Bryant used to eat. And it's this little bitty house looking restaurant. And you need to get there early. I'm talking about like 7:15 in the morning if you hope to get there before game kicks off, because you'll be waiting a while. But incredible food. You're going to leave fat and happy. That's the goal, right? When the games like this, country breakfast, they take care of you. Now, some of the other places, if you're looking for a barbecue, people are going to be divided. You got Dreamland Ribs. That's probably one of the most well known in terms of barbecue, but Archibald's and Woodrow's. I'll tell you right now, it's just outside campus in Northport. Incredible lit ribs, incredible barbecue all around. And if you're looking for wings, nothing better than Baumhauer's. It's right there,
Okay.
slightly off campus. So a couple places to check out. And for some reason, if you're feeling pizza, the Standard on the Strip, got to go check that out. As far as sightseeing and kind of getting to know the history of Bama, go to the Paul W. Bryant Museum.
Yep.
It's like Alabama football comes alive right before your eyes, man. But yeah, it's always a good time, and we try to treat people right. I've had no bad experiences from Oklahoma fans, and I ask Tide fans that are watching who will be at the game, please do the same for us.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, the Bama fans were awesome that came to visit when they came to Norman last year. Didn't leave the way they wanted to, but they did enjoy themselves, and that's what's most important, right?
And I actually got a lot of feedback saying the same thing. So we appreciate you taking care of us. And let's get right to it, brother. Listen, you mentioned last year, still something I'm trying to get out of my memories, trying to block that off a little bit. Circumstances are kind of the same, but in reverse. All Alabama had to do last year was take away that W from Norman, and we're in the playoffs. No, Alabama decided they didn't want to know part of that and turn in arguably one of their worst performances in the 2024 season. You guys celebrated. We were crying. But now Oklahoma comes to town. Same situation, like I said, back against the wall. This is essentially a playing game for you guys. It doesn't get any bigger. What's your mindset, and what's the mindset of the team right now as they're going into this very important matchup?
Yeah, you pointed it out perfectly. Oklahoma needs this game for playoff implications. Now, granted, depending on how close this game is, there's a possibility that Oklahoma could sneak in at 9-3 as long as they close the season out strong, just because of how strong the schedule was that they played. I mean, their losses are to, Texas, who's a playoff team right now, Ole Miss, who's a playoff team right now, and if they lose to Alabama, there'll be another playoff team. And then they've knocked off other teams on the way, a couple of top 25 wins, actually technically 3 top 25 wins so far this season. And so the toughness of this schedule helps kind of in the narrative around an at-large possibility. They just need a lot of help from a lot of other people. So in this case for Oklahoma, the most important thing is control your controllables and do your thing. Do what you need to do to win this game. And if you can control your own destiny, you're in. Like this win, if we win this game this weekend, we should be able to handle Missouri, who's dealing with a true freshman quarterback, and Brent Venables is really good against true freshman quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And then you've got LSU, who's in shambles right now, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to be going forward. And both of those games are at home. Makes it even better for you. They're both at the crib. So this is opportunity is right there in your lap. So Oklahoma, like I said, closes in this game. There's a chance. So in the vibe right now around the circles is just go win. Do what you're supposed to. You've proven that you can do it. You've proven that it wasn't a fluke in your past, that you can find a way to improve your defense to where you're a problem for people. And now just go out there and do it.
Absolutely. And to get it done, you're going to need your best players to play. So I would be remiss to not ask the question regarding the health of Oklahoma players. Really, two main ones jump off the page right now, and that's that alpha dog, Kobie McKinzie. Gosh, Bama fans, if you've not got a chance to watch Kobie McKinzie this season, my gosh, you are doing yourself a disservice. This is that guy, that prototypical old school linebacker, brings his lunch pail to work. But also R. Mason Thomas. There's a few others as well that are probable, who are questionable. So if you would, man, give me an update on those two guys. Very pivotal for that defense, I mean, Heineke, I feel like it can handle all by himself, but it's
Mhm.
always great to have your dudes beside you playing. What's the status of those two guys, as well as some of the others that may not play as big a role, but definitely make an impact?
I'd say your biggest one right now, kind of you mentioned it on the list, is going to be our Mason Thomas. He's number one on that one. He's 6.5 sacks this season. He's one player that everyone's looking at for the NFL draft. Like I've been hearing top 100 easy. I've been hearing top 50 as of late just because of his ability and just how much of a terrorist he is out there at the edge. I mean, he can go step back, play a little linebacker, rush in. And for the uninitiated, if you watch the Tennessee game, he's the dude that returned the ball for a touchdown on that fumble. Now, the tough part about that is he is really your big anchor. He's just the guy that everyone learned about last season, and they wondered if he could continue it, and he's done it. It's gonna hurt not having him, but the one thing Oklahoma has done a really good job of, and not very many teams do this, Brent Venables and his staff rotates a lot of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they play sometimes 2 full lineups in games. So you get a lot of young players getting in critical moments in the game. You get a lot of veteran players playing in critical moments. And so everybody's getting that experience. So the one name for y'all to watch out for, Taylor Wine. Against Tennessee, he finished that game with 7 pressures.
Yeah.
He was the one that was probably in Joey's lunch the most. You've also got Marvin Jones Jr., who will probably be out there with him. And then some Bama fans, if you keep up with recruiting, you'll know this name, and Danny Okoye. He was part of that 24 class. Nick Saban really wanted him. Let's put it that way. He was the MVP at his camp, and it was like, I want that. He's dude's horrifying. He's athletic, and he's starting to his shape, his technique, and everything's starting to shape. So we've got, and then our former 5-star PJ Adebawore, who's healthy, and he's starting to show up too. So for Oklahoma, the big thing is we've got a lot of dudes that's going to be able to walk in here and hopefully help out and hopefully fill the gaps that we had before. And that's a plus for Oklahoma. We really need to have these guys show up. Now, linebacker room, you mentioned it. Owen Heineke is the guy that I feel like is the one that's going to step up in the Kobie McKinzie space. Him and Kip Lewis. Y'all know Kip Lewis. I know y'all don't like hearing his name. Y'all don't want to hear that name. Nobody in the state of Alabama likes hearing that name. Because he's the one with the pick sixes, aka Kip sixes, against both Auburn and Alabama. He's still leading the charge at linebacker. But Owen Heineke could probably be that dude off with him if Kobie doesn't play. Because like you said, Kobie's old school linebacker, big, fills gaps, plays okay in coverage, but he's really good at just stuffing the run. The other dude that comes with that's going to be Kendall Daniels, the transfer from Oklahoma State, 6'5", roughly 250, can play safety, fast enough to play safety, fast enough to play inside linebacker, also very terrifying on the edge. He'll come down on the edge as well. So we like, and kind of like the Mimi with the don't know anything about rotating players. We rotate like crazy. So you're going to see a lot of numbers and names. You're going to be like, who is this dude? Like, I didn't even know this dude existed. And that's why I'm not as fearful as I normally would losing R. Mason Thomas, because it's a big deal. Don't get it twisted. One other one, though, is that's on there right now is our guy, Jaden Jackson, on the interior. Right now, he's listed there as questionable. I'm wondering if he plays, it's a big piece for our run stopping and pass rush, because he gets into the hole very quickly. If not, then you'll have more of a David Stone and Dominic Williams presence, which David Stone has been showing up this year too. He's the former 5-star. He is a beast, and he has been terrorizing folks. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that's probably the best sum of how the injuries look on defense. Overall, I'm not as concerned as I would be if this was 2 years ago.
So basically, Alabama fans' comfort level just got a little shaken a bit by that entire breakdown. So we appreciate that, Jay. No, listen, outside this game, if you love defense, then that Oklahoma Sooner defense is one that you really need to watch. It was a pleasure seeing what you guys were able to do against Tennessee. And not just from a physical standpoint, Jay, but from a mental standpoint. Of course, you bring the wood with every snap, but also too you have a way of just getting into the heads of each quarterback you face. Joey Aguilar, you shut him down completely. I mean, they were able to throw all over the yard, but ultimately, when it counted, you guys made bad things happen for the Volunteers, and you capitalized off of it. Tennessee had their opportunities to capitalize to kind of take hold of the game, but you just wouldn't allow it. Can you kind of talk about that psychological edge that defense has over opponents if they really are allowed to have it?
Right. Yeah. It's this defense is full of dogs. I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, I don't even want no hyperbole whatsoever. They're dogs, and they love playing for Brent Venables because no matter what, he's going to put them in circumstances and situations where they could take advantage of their skill sets. And of course, that excites a player. Like, if you got a player that likes blitzing, BV's going to say, all right, I'm going to put you in a certain place to where I can get you some good blitzes. And the players get excited about that. Like, oh, I can do what I like to do the most. Let's go. And so you start to see the emotions and excitement for them on that. And then when it comes to those moments where you need to really lock down, put the cuffs on, that's when you start to see them turn up a notch. And you mentioned it right. Like, the strategy to me felt like in that game in which we kind of failed in a couple of moments that we should have been better at is, you can give him some underneath stuff. Don't let him destroy you too deep. Let the front four, which were one of the better teams in the country when it comes to getting pressure on quarterbacks with just 4 players, let them get the pressure and then make sure you're in the right spot to prepare for the pass, right? Like I said, Joey Aguilar, first drive, he drove it down. You're like, okay, we got a feeling of what's going to be. Then the next time they go down, you force the fumble, return it for a touchdown. The entire stadium, the air just completely is gone. They're just like, are you kidding me? How did you let that happen? I mean, pass rush is just that good, guys. And then from there, as Joey tried to get into those rhythms, you put the pressure on him. And as soon as he gets that hit, intercepted, you get to return one back. You do it a second time. So you get 3 turnovers in the first half. And to me, we don't turn the ball over very well, right? We don't get very many turnovers, but we jolt the quarterback because you're always going to have somebody in your face. Somebody's going to get a hit on you. That also is to our detriment because it always leads to a personal foul, roughing the passer type call, when in all actuality, it's just them in standard pursuit. It's never malicious. It's a swatting at the ball, and unfortunately, you hit the wrong person, right? Type deal, right?
Yeah.
So, but because of that can rattle quarterbacks. Now, for me, the fascinating thing in this game is Ty Simpson has shown to me that he doesn't get rattled. Regardless, he takes hits, he stands tall in the pocket, and he trusts his line. Sometimes to his own detriment. I mean, that's the reason why you have the last 4 games, he has had a fumble lost on a sack each game. And it's mainly because he stands tall in the pocket. And when his guys get beat, unfortunately, that's the collateral damage that comes from it. But the good thing is that doesn't happen very often. It typically happens in play action based upon what I've seen, but it doesn't happen often enough for him to be concerned. So when you have a quarterback that's that confident in the pocket, that's willing to stand tall regardless of what's facing him and throw a pass to the spot that he knows his receivers can catch it, it's a massive advantage for that team. For Oklahoma, it's going to be we need to get to him as fast as possible. We do that at a very good clip right now. You just got to make sure that you turn it up. You got to turn it up half a second. Get there half a second faster to where as soon as the windup goes, you can make sure the ball's going the opposite direction.
OU Revenge Tour. Be prepared to learn the name Cortland Guillory. I know very well who that man is. Gosh, and he's just a freshman, and he's feeling his way through everything. And there are times where he looks like a freshman, and there are times where he plays like a veteran. And this is a kid that could really flip a game upside down. So I agree with you, OU Revenge Tour. I'm not one of those Alabama fans who just only solely focuses on our team. I try to look at the opponents and what they're doing. And you bring up Ty Simpson, Jay. So this kind of is a perfect segue to our next topic, the threat Ty Simpson poses. Before I really ask the question or get your thoughts on things. I'm going to fill Alabama fans in exactly what we're getting ourselves into. And you did a great way of kind of prepping us for that. Alabama fans, we saw what happened against LSU this past Saturday. Alabama could not be off mentally again against Oklahoma. These centers, as Jay has told us, are far too dangerous and can take Alabama out the way we played last week. Gonna give you boys some praise here, Jay. Oklahoma's front seven is second in the SEC, only allowing 82 yards rushing per game, something that we struggle with. Oklahoma has the best scoring defense in the SEC, only allowing slightly more than 14 points per game. You guys are number 2 in almost every defensive metric. We've talked about Owen Heineke, Kobie McKinzie, Cortland Guillory. And as you already said, the defense is very comfortable bending but not breaking. But honestly, you guys don't bend that much. And here's a stat that really shook me. Jay, you got 18 players who have a sack this season.
Not very many teams can say that. Again,
no, and
heavy rotations of elite talent that they developed. And it's funny because you say that, and it still baffles me even thinking about the fact that we do have 18 dudes with a sack. And it's more so because the thing that I tried to preach heavily to Oklahoma fans is patience. When BV got to Oklahoma, this is no true shade against the old regime, but it's the truth. He came in and he even mentioned it. We had to rip this bad boy back to the studs, like building a house. If you've ever built a house or know anything about building homes, if you go into a house and you completely gut it down to the studs, you start from scratch, basically.
Yeah.
The only thing good is the foundation was still solid enough that you didn't have to just bulldoze the whole thing. For BV, that's what it was. So he's knocking down all of the sheetrock. He's getting rid of rooms. He's clearing things out because they had to figure out what was there. And because of that, they had to build it from the ground up again. So he went in there, evaluated, figured out he gave players a year. He was being very gracious to a lot. And by the 24 season, about 90% of those players were gone. You barely had anybody from the old regime that were even freshmen when he came in 22. Mm-hmm. So because of that, you had a little bit of a slow burn when it came to building your defense the way you wanted to. And I told fans, got to be a little patient there. Give him the moment. He didn't walk into a situation because you lose a lot of players too on top of walking in and having to clear house in a way. If he had a cleared house year one, probably would have looked different in 2024, but he didn't. He gave grace. So for Oklahoma, that slow burn of building that defensive line, the way you want to build it, because it takes time to build a defense. He built them up, and then now you're starting to see the fruits of the labor from the 23 class and the 24 class playing now, and you're like, goodness gracious, where all these dudes come from? And it's like, well, this is kind of what Brent Venables wanted. He wanted to make sure not one dude was the problem. He wanted to make sure you had to look at 7 to 14 dudes coming at you. That's a concern. And as you mentioned it, man, 18 guys with at least one sack. It's a mixture of your interior guys, mixture of linebackers, safeties. His blitzing packages are exotic. He throws a safety down out of nowhere. He's got 2 safeties, actually technically 3 with Kendall Daniels, that when they blitz, people are afraid. Because they hit really, really hard. Yeah. Reggie Powers as well as Michael Boganowski. I swear those 2 and Kendall Daniels have a bet every single week to see who gets the biggest hit. And if you've watched any of the games, that Michigan hit that Kendall Daniels had where he took out Justice Hayes, Justice was pissed. It's like, dude, you just let him level me like that? And you can see him get up, like his teammates tried to help him up. He's just slapping people's hands away. He was pissed. KD5 was in people's chest. He did the choke slam against Ole Miss on the screen pass. Go search the Michael Myers meme. I think I put it on my page over on First Sports on X or whatnot. But that you have dudes like that like to hit, and BV sets them up to where they can. So to me, one of that on top of the sacks, one big threat for him is going to be if one of those blitzes come behind him and they really hit him. That to me is where, if anything, Bama, the smart thing to do, especially if if it's a pass down, truth be told, max protect. Don't let nobody slip through the cracks. because if he
Yeah.
sends down Michael Boganowski, if he sends down Rachel, which Michael Boganowski had a big hit against Temple, if he comes down out of nowhere, he may try. He's gonna get a good shot, and that may ring a bell, and you don't want that to happen.
And I think that we kind of got a great prep course this previous week against LSU's defense. And regardless of what their record is right now, they got some dudes on that defense. They're one of the best defenses in the SEC. Several guys, the NFL scouts are just drooling over that entire secondary. I think are either All-Americans or All SEC. So it kind of gave us a good idea of what to expect this week. But I feel like OU is just on a different level. And let's be honest, we're still trying to figure things out in terms of the offensive line. There's a lot of rotation going on. There's going to be another rotation this week. We're going to see some players in different spots. That has not been released yet, but you will see what comes Saturday. Of course, Jay, you know, our run game, we just don't have one, and it seems like it's not really a priority. So all of the burden has really been on Ty Simpson this entire year. And it's a testament of what he has been able to do as far as how good he is, being able to carry that load and not being shaken. But sometime at some point he's going to need some help. But I got to ask you, with what you just told me regarding the Oklahoma defense, how can Ty Simpson pose a threat to the defense or possibly neutralize it? You mentioned one thing. If Ty Simpson is holding on to the ball, which at times when he's unsettled, he tends to do, he wants to extend a play and try to find that home run moment, something that can be to his detriment. But majority of the time, it's out quick. And that's where he kind of takes a huge advantage over a defense like this. But I'll let you talk. Alabama fans need to know, just so we can have some kind of comfort going in. No, but seriously, what kind of a threat do you see Ty Simpson posing to this defense?
Oh God, he's a massive threat. Like he's the best quarterback that we've seen this season. I mean, no shade to Trinidad Chambers, who I thought was fantastic of a quarterback.
Love that kid.
And what helps Trinidad is that he scrambles a lot and he'll run. Like he'll just go break out. Ty doesn't as much. And you know, same thing. Joey Aguilar, he's a gunslinger, but he's got tendencies that are easier to read. And I love the JM12 talking about the stealing signs piece, which is kind of hilarious. But you know, especially when you're wearing headsets, you better figure that bad boy out. But no, for Ty, because he's willing to stand tall and and throw darts the entire game. This team, if you've listened to me talk before, I've talked and said this numerous times. This team reminds me of the 2023 Washington squad that went to the national championship. You got a quarterback. Difference between Ty Simpson and Michael Penix is that Michael Penix doesn't have knees, so that's the reason why he didn't run. Ty more so just doesn't run. He's more of a in the pocket quarterback, and truth be told, he fits perfectly in the way that Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer likes to call offenses. Though not having a run game is going to be a real challenge, because if you get too one-dimensional against Brent Venables, he's prepared for you more. That was where Tennessee became a big challenge in the second half for them, is we force him to be one-dimensional. And Tennessee's never one-dimensional like that. Like, I think that was the first game that they didn't run for 100 yards in like 3 or 4 seasons or something absurd.
Right.
We held them to something that they never do. Like, they always have a team run of at least 100 yards. Total 63 is what we held them to. So it was one of those like, oh crap, this is not what we're used to. What do we do now? And now you're doing everything we want you to do. The difference though is Ty Simpson doesn't have, because Joey Aguilar has a slow wind up, quick release, right? Like it takes him a minute to get there, but when it's gone. That's a little bit easier for a safety's eyes to see. He's winding this direction and start to book it to get to the spot, especially if the play call is right. Ty isn't. Ty gets that bad boy, doom, 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 doom. He's dropping them. And so because of that, Oklahoma's going to be prepared for those quick passes. Screen game, y'all kill it in. That is one of the things that we kind of have moments of suffering in. That's when we have missed tackles and people break it out for touchdowns. That's had that 54-yard touchdown happen for Tennessee. Really, it wasn't a screen. It was more of a drag, but a shallow drag. But the big problem is that we didn't tackle. We didn't wrap up. We tried to do a big hit, knock the dude down, hopefully knocking the ball out. No, wrap. We don't punch when we wrap up like we used to. Those are things that I know this staff has worked on. But that's going to be probably the biggest thing. Is that screen game is going to be elite for you because you got electric wide receivers, and Ty does a fantastic job of getting the ball to them in the proper spaces to where they could do work. We're just going to have to be very disciplined in our tackling to stop that. So to me, he poses the biggest risk, but our goal is to make it one-dimensional to where a lot of his human habits start to show up.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a quick little break and talk about one of our sponsors. Bama fans, listen, if you're going to this game tomorrow, you all know what you have to have, and that's your very own title towel. You've heard of the terrible towel for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, this is Alabama's version of it. Go to www.whitwillsports.com today. Enter the promo code STANDARD. You get a nice discount, courtesy of your favorite Bama network out there, the Bama Standard Network. So get your title towel before you head to Tuscaloosa. If you can't get it in time, hey, go to the Paul W. Bryant Museum gift shop. They have some on hand there. But yeah, your game day is not complete without the title towel. All right. So Alabama seems to have found a little bit of a pass rush here as of late, Jay. And I've watched Oklahoma's offensive line. And of course, you have a few guys that are a bit green, right? So what's your comfort level in terms of this offensive line for Oklahoma with Alabama pass rush, who is seemingly starting to figure things out, especially Yanze Pierre and LT Overton. We're starting to do things. You want to play your best ball at this part of the season, and I feel like Kane Walmack is starting to unlock a few things. So where's your confidence level when it comes to facing this pass rush?
I don't think the pass rush terrifies me as much as the secondary does. And again, it's no shade to the pass rush. I think it's going to be really good. We've seen massive strides from our offensive linemen. If you've ever heard me talk on any network ever when I'm talking about players, I hate starting freshmen early in the season. Terrifies me because they're going to do freshman things, make freshman mistakes, and it's going to lead to usually very bad things. It's a very common part. We saw that in our secondary on the defensive side. But on the offensive line side, you got to see a lot of spot duty for our two tackles, Michael Fasusi and Ryan Fogier. So they played a little bit here and there. Then it got to Fasusi, got the starting job, and he's been doing well. He had an ankle injury against Michigan, slowed him up a little bit in some games, but he was still, he's been playing very good at left tackle. Right tackle, we have Ryan Fogier. Both of them were top 100 tackles in the country from all of the ratings systems, thank goodness. And Fogier was originally playing guard, and he did not look good at right guard when he was in mop-up duty. And then when our right tackle went down, they had him in practice, and he started to give our defensive pass rush problems. And they're like, all right, toss him in the game. He's been looking really good. So for me, like the LT Overton component, because he's more, three technique interior guy, right? So for me, it's him versus our center, Jake Michla, and our left guard, Eddie Pierre-Louis, our big Florida boy, who's he's a nasty dude. He likes to just trample people.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting matchup for me, is to seeing how the interior handles your big boys. Outside, our tackles do a good job of following around. And the plus side as well is that Mateer's a runner. And he's gotten back to it. Second half of the Tennessee game made me feel like him against Michigan, second game of the season. You're like, oh, this is the type of dude you're going to get. Let's get it. And he's starting to feel confident again. And he was scrambling like crazy. I mean, he had 80 yards rushing in the game. If you take away the sack numbers, especially the late sack numbers, he had 99 total yards rushing, 80 net. So he's going to be probably the thing that makes it tough for the pass rush. If we can get the pass rush to go in certain spots based upon the way we prepare for stunts and such, then Mateer's probably going to find lanes and he's going to run. And that's where your linebackers are going to come into play or if you have a spy that's ready for him. And the challenge of having a spy is you're possibly leaving somebody else open, somebody with a good path to go somewhere. So I think the pass rush is going to be a challenge for the young pups. I think they'll be up for it. I don't think it'll be awful in their case. The biggest thing for us is as long as John Mateer gets rid of the ball, we're fine. They did really good against Texas when Mateer threw the ball. When Mateer wasn't throwing the ball, which was right after the thumb surgery,
right?
When he wasn't trying to really throw it and rip it, he had, I think that the numbers, I think Pro Football Focus had the numbers at like 4 seconds in the pocket on those pass plays. Like that's a lot of time. If you make a decision, you're good. He wasn't making decisions, so he wasn't good. And we've seen him progress back into the confidence. Like I said, second half Tennessee game, which was the last game we played, is where I'm like, okay, I think we've got Mateer at least back towards the Michigan status, and now he needs to just continue to get 1% better every single day. And so it's going to be a challenge. I think that for you all, the biggest challenge is going to be making sure Mateer's butt's not run all over the place. Pavia was able to do it. But you guys were able to force turnovers out of him. Mateer will turn the ball over. So I'm not even going to pretend like he won't. He will. You will have opportunities for turnovers because that's just his game. The biggest thing is as long as we don't turn the ball over in plus yardage for you all, our defense should be able to slow things down to where it's not as detrimental.
Well, it's funny how you always end up providing the best segues to the next topics. And for me, for Alabama fans, I think really the biggest X factors, and I could be wrong, so that's why I bring you here because you really know things, would be John Mateer. But wait, there could be someone else, and that's Xavier Robinson. So let me give a quick rundown to the Bama fans who are watching. And Jay, I'm going to be honest. This John Mateer is the best quarterback we faced, and he was probably about 100% right now, I'd say, because against Tennessee, I felt like that he was starting to show. Okay, he's got that swagger back. He's got that trust in his hand, and the mental block that was there is quickly fading away. And just like with Ty Simpson, though, for Oklahoma offensively, it's been all on Mateer. He's y'all's top threat. But as I mentioned, Xavier Robinson has become a threat as well, averaging 6.4 yards per carry. Seems like everything's coming together at the right time. And when Xavier's not doing it, Bama fans get used to the name Isaiah Santana III. Dude is absolutely electric. He can fly. I feel like Deion Burks is starting to emerge as well. Mateer has the weapons, and he's healthy, but you mentioned the whole Diego Pavia situation. If they are expecting him to replicate a performance like we saw from Diego Pavia versus Auburn, it could be disastrous. So let me ask you, what kind of threat does Mateer pose to Alabama? And is he the X factor in this game, or is Xavier Robinson the X factor?
Oh, the X factor is X, 100%. It's going to be X Rob. We need Xavier Robinson to go out there and give us another game similar to last year's. Now, I don't expect Kane Womack to go out there and do a 3-man front running a 3-3-5 because Mateer can't throw. I don't expect him to conform back to that like he did last year when, truth be told, we couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Like the passing was not there whatsoever. It was okay, we're going to take away the thing that you're really bad at. Thanks. We appreciate it, I guess. I guess that's the thing I can say I thank you for. Make the quarterback run the ball because he can't throw. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. No, I think the X factor truly is going to be Xavier Robinson. And another running back to keep your eyes out for is going to be Torrey Blaylock. That's our two-headed monster running backs. Torrey's more of a change of pace, but he runs great between the tackles, and he's done a very good job of his vision finding holes. X-Rob's your big back. He's like 240. And he runs a 4.5 40-yard dash, right? He's not as big as Derrick Henry was, but he plays in a similar form. He's known for throwing dudes off of him. Get off me very often. But, no, he's going to be the one because I think that they're going to leverage him, and he's going to be the bell cow for the game. I do think Torrey Blaylock's going to get a good amount of snaps, but where Mateer, that big challenge is, kind of like I mentioned around the pass rush is, Mateer's going to move around the pocket. He's going to move the pocket with him sometimes, and he's going to scramble and run. He's going to find his holes, and he's going to dip. And as long as Bama wraps up with their tackling. Don't let them break tackles. He broke tackles against Michigan, Auburn. He was breaking tackles in a lot of games. As long as y'all don't allow him to break tackles, which is a lot harder, easier said than done.
Right.
You stop him, you wrap up and you get him down, you'll be fine. But that's going to be the challenge, is actually getting him wrapped up. He's gotten the second half of Tennessee, and I will always reference that because that's where we're seeing the emergence, is he's not sitting there and being indecisive. He's making better decisions and getting rid of the ball. And that's what's most important. You mentioned Isaiah Satania at wide receiver is one of his favorite players. That's kind of become his safety blanket outside of Keontez Lewis, who is on the injury report right now. He's been dealing with concussions. He's the one that had the scary hit against the wall against Kent State, helmet to the brick wall. But it was terrifying. Yeah, but he's back, and it looks like he's going to play. He played in the Texas game after that incident. He played in the Texas game, got his bell rung again, it looked like, and he's been out the last couple of games. Well, he's back, and he's a burner. And Mateer really likes him. I mean, he really likes him. He's the dude that he has a tendency to throw into when he probably shouldn't. But he throws it to him. So that's going to be probably some of the pieces to look out for. Other one to me, I think the one thing that if Mateer wants to, as well as Ben Arbuckle, want to really see success in this game, we need to leverage our tight end, Jaron Cannick. The athletic dude, played linebacker, and he converted to tight end because he's just this linebacker. He was done a really good job of being really fast at going to the wrong places. He's a former track kid in Kansas, and I mean 6'2", 240, runs probably still at least runs a 10.4 in the 100. He's still fast. He got some good hands, and Mateer likes him. So I think Oklahoma is going to really spend a lot of time throwing across the middle, throwing to the tight end, forcing those corners and those safeties to come up to where we can try to go over the top, because y'all's true freshman
Dijon Lee
is a monster, and he's 6'5". It's not fair.
He started.
That should be illegal. I feel like he should be banned from this game because he's too tall and too good to be playing the way he does.
Man, you're talking about wrapping up in the run game and how you guys are finding yourself. Of course, for Alabama, the struggle still is the run fits. For whatever reason, we can't seem to figure that out. Did a lot better against LSU, but honestly, I think LSU just abandoned the run game a little bit sooner than they should have, instead of continue to pound the rock. But also, too, we tend to give up too much in space in the passing game. So the things you just mentioned is a concern for me. As good as our secondary is, we tend to give up a little bit too much. And when you have guys like you just mentioned, Satania and these other guys, man, it could be a problem. But somehow, as the closer we get to the end zone, we tend to tighten up. Our red zone defense is pretty much on point, but I don't want to get that far down the field.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. You don't want to. You don't want to allow that. And we're really good in the red zone. That's probably been our biggest strength. I think we've scored on every red zone visit this season so far, either a field goal or a touchdown. We go out there. Tate Sandell, as mentioned in the comments here, titanium leg, hit 3 50-yarders at Neyland Stadium during dark mode. That was one of the loudest crowds I'd been to in a while. They were pumped for that game, and they were juiced. It was not what you think. Now, I've heard Bama fans say the kicking for y'all has been all right. Yeah, so there's a face. There it is. There's my confirmation.
Well,
it ain't all that.
No
Tate
shade
Sandell.
at all. Of course, listen, we got tremendously spoiled for 4 years when we had Will Reichard, and he's still doing that in the NFL right now. It's hard to replicate that. And our kicker, Connor Talty, at times can be a liability, but against LSU, he came up big and hit pivotal kicks. But to OU Revenge Tour's comment, what team has the better special teams? Without a doubt, it's got to be Oklahoma right now. As you mentioned, Tate Sandell. I mean, listen, I'm not a fan of the shorty shorts at all, but apparently it does something. And if you're going to keep hitting those field goals like he is, man, you can't tell him not to do it. 8 of 19, long of 55, 6 for 6 over 50. Who does that?
Hey, that kid can kick. He got a leg, and like I said, he got what he did. He did 350 yarders against Tennessee, man, and he's missed one field goal over 40 this year. And I told Sooner fans, we got him out of the portal. We played at UTSA, and a lot of them are like, "Who want this dude from UTSA? We don't blah blah blah," because our kicking has struggled in years past, and so. When I looked at him only missing one kick inside of 40 yards, I was like, oh, he's going to be critical for us in the SEC. A lot of these games are going to come down to field goal situations. A lot of very close. As long as you keep getting points on the board, you have a chance of winning. And that was the thing I preached at the beginning of the season that, hey, you've got to keep an eye. This is going to be critical for Oklahoma in order to be successful. And I think Tate might be that dude. Then he's been walking out there with that titanium leg. And you're like, oh, okay, go and do it. And it's funny. The shorts thing is always a funny story, right? So he talked about it post game that because he wears pants typically every game. His pants tore, so he ended up having to take them off that he had, and they had to kick. And it was cold. I mean, it was pretty chilly down up in Knoxville. He had to change. So he went out there and he had to kind of cut it and went to kick. Because most kickers don't want anything right over their knee, especially if it's tight, because, right. The comfort of kicking the ball. And I totally understand the player safety comment or whatnot. As long as he's just kicking the ball, it don't matter. Just don't fumble the snap. Yeah. That's the most important thing. As long as he don't fumble the snap, he's good. He's going to get the ball off. Ain't nobody going to hit him. If they do hit him, it's roughing the kicker, and you'll get a first down. So, I mean, that's pads or not. Can't do anything about that portion of it, but... Yeah, that's for him. It's he does a really good job on kickoffs, kicking into the end zone for touchbacks. So he rarely ever has to actually tackle anybody or anything. So I get the player safety component, but the good thing is he's rarely in a situation where he has to deal with that.
I believe Crimson. Imagine carrying what another guy is wearing. I think he's making fun of us because all last year we were sitting there commenting on Kalen DeBoer's wardrobe. How dare he? Saban would never.
Boy, the shirts, the T-shirts, all that, man, it's been the funniest thing in the world to me.
Oh my gosh.
It has been the outrage on that. So yeah, CKD gotta figure out how to not upset the peoples.
Listen, people are always gonna find something, right? There is no perfect answer to anything. But listen, I know your time is valuable, and we greatly appreciate you being with us. We got a few audience questions, so I want to move on to that. Cool. And then I'll get your prediction because I think it's fair to hear from you what you think. So let me go to, I got ahead of myself. OU Revenge Tour. How short are the Bama kickers' pants?
That's going to be the running joke, y'all. That's going to be the running joke for a while. So I love it. I love that we can find humor in it. I'm actually kind of curious how short are his shorts.
Regulation.
All right. There we go.
All right. JM12 Green. My question is, how many signs does Venables plan on stealing tomorrow? Ha ha.
Hey, it's funny because he thought we were being sensitive. No, I think it's hilarious that's always what's talked about. Like, that's literally brought up all the time. It's the funniest thing in the world to me. He'll probably steal all of them, though, so just keep that in mind. It's literally what he's going to go after this entire game. But no, it's going to be interesting to see him going up against Ryan Grubb. That's going to be a fascinating matchup for me. That's what I'm going to be sitting there at the stadium looking at like, how's this going to go?
Well, the thing is, there's been sign stealing for years and years and years. I mean, that's the whole point of scouting, right? Mm-hmm. It's your job as a player and as coaches to execute things. So for anyone who's in their feelings about it, just move on from that. All right.
Exactly.
RTR Mimi J, what is the avenue for Alabama to win?
Oh yeah, that's not hard at all. It's not turning over the ball and killing time. To me, time of possession is critical for Bama in this one. When you don't have a run game, you got to find ways to keep the clock going. And that's on the offensive side of the ball. We all know that your wide receivers are dynamic. So if you just get them the ball in space, there's gonna be challenges for our defense because we don't wrap up very well, like a lot of teams don't. So you get them in space, they're gonna start burning and outrunning folks. So I think that that's gonna be the biggest, to me, challenge on our defensive side is that, and then Ty Simpson getting rid of the ball quickly. Those screens are gonna be critical. His ability to, his quick pass game is gonna be critical because he dissects defenses like a pro. So I know that he'll be able to boom, 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 and do some quick drops. On the opposite side of the ball, you're going to have to get to Mateer, and you're going to have to stop our run game. Make Mateer only throw the ball the entire game and force him to show you that he can do it as a 100% passer. You do that, it's probably your best chance because I don't know if he's there yet fully. Hopefully he does show up out of nowhere and do it for us. That will warm my heart, but I think that that's probably your smartest avenue to go. But this game's going to be around 20 to 23-ish area.
Yeah.
I don't think it goes further. I've seen so many people say, oh, Bama's going to score 30-something points in the game. I'm just like, how? They don't run the ball. Like, now, granted, I could see it getting to 30-something because they can't run the ball and the clock stopped a lot. So that would make sense. There's a lot of game stopping. But to me, I think it's really the focal point's going to be you get to burn clock. Burn clock. We need to keep Ty Simpson off the field. Y'all need to keep John Mateer off the field. Simple as that.
Listen, I agree. One of the things Alabama has done well is clock management this year. That's been a difference in a lot of games. Last year it was a struggle, but also we're winning on third down, and this is a game where you've got to win on third down and limit turnovers. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the first team to 23 probably is going to win this. One of the frustrations for Alabama for me that doesn't make me think we can get to 30 is it seems like when we get to the second half, our offense doesn't know how to offense. We are not able to put the ball in the end zone, excluding the South Carolina game. For whatever reason, it feels like maybe in our minds we feel that it's enough that we do it in the first half and we can just hang on the rest of the way. If you had that kind of mentality, a team like Oklahoma is going to take advantage and you're going to be on the wrong end of the scoreboard. Joe Willie, this will be Bama's best SEC performance this year. I don't know why everyone is so scared of Oklahoma. They are a worthy opponent. Nevertheless, this Bama team plays up to the level of their opponents.
I don't disagree.
I don't know so much as scared.
I don't think
as
there's a reason to be scared. I think that it's probably respect. I don't think anybody on the team at Alabama is scared of Oklahoma. I don't even think fans really are. I think they respect what Oklahoma's been doing this year, and which makes sense.
But yeah, I agree there. Tyler Seal, people forget the crowd is a part of Alabama's defense. Opponents average more pre-snap penalties in Bryant-Denny than almost anywhere in the country.
It's true. Similar in Neyland. Neyland's known for forcing a lot of pre-snaps, especially at night. But the line's been showing some discipline. Now, I don't expect us to be clean. Question is, besides pre-snap penalties, how lucky will either one of us get with getting a holding call in our favor? Because it doesn't seem to happen for y'all very often. It dang sure don't happen for us. You can go watch the tape. Tennessee was holding like crazy, and no calls.
There's a lot of that they get away with, actually. And I'm not being one of those typical Bama fans. Oh, the refs. No. It seems like when we play against Tennessee or other teams, the refs just say, you know what, y'all just play.
Yeah. Swallow the whistle. Go play ball. Let's enjoy football for a change.
And also, I think they're a little hesitant because there's been so much criticism of the bad calls they've made this season. They have determined the outcomes of games.
Yeah. We get a lot of, like I said, we get a lot of roughing the passer, heads to the face type penalties when we're out there trying to deflect passes. Because our defensive line is taught, get your hands up, really need to deflect the ball. And we get caught on it. That's it.
Here's a good question from Stevie G. I have one question besides Ty Simpson. Who is Bama's X Factor?
Yeah. That's a good one. That's my guy Stevie, big Sooner fan, part of the my channel mods or whatnot. But that's a really good question. That's the one thing I wonder from you all. What do you think is the X factor for you all on the offensive side of the ball?
Man, how Ty goes is how our offense goes. He's carried us the entire year. I don't want to think of a world without him. But honestly, in a game like this, the offensive line as a whole and Ryan Grubb, I, I really need to see some growth from that offensive line. And I need to see Ryan Grubb come up with some kind of run scheme that can make us somewhat effective. I'm not saying elite, but enough to keep a defense honest.
Yes.
And get pressure off of Ty Simpson. Our receivers are who they are, but it comes down to those things. We've struggled all year in trying to figure out this offensive line. We've struggled all year trying to figure out this running game. And what really infuriates me, and Jay, you've probably seen it on film, outside of Jaden Roberts, two of our best run blockers, we don't run the ball behind them. We're having problems as it is, but for whatever reason, we're not going behind Cam Dewberry and Caden Proctor. We're going to the weakest part of the line and getting blown up. But yeah, I don't have like a single answer. It's a collective answer for this one, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
All right. And Jermaine Mims, does Oklahoma have an answer for Lotzir Brooks?
Lotzir Brooks. Ooh. Man, got me there. No, I mean, no matter what, y'all are going to be a challenge regardless, right? Like, I guess for Oklahoma, honestly, I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I have to actually look at and see if we do have an answer for Brooks.
One thing I noticed, and I don't know how closely you've watched Alabama games, when Lotzir Brooks was out, the receivers had a hard time really doing their thing. But when he's been in the lineup, they've been able to perform a lot better. I think he's that guy who can take pressure off of a Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard.
Yep. And I mean, even with that, our one of our corners, Gentry Williams, at the media availability this week, he specifically said that. He was like, the biggest problem with Bama is they've got a bunch of receivers. They don't have one. They spread it out very well. So you're not looking for one dude. Like, I mean, you know Ryan Williams, you know Jeremy Bernard, cool. But you got Brooks that you got to figure out. You got to make sure you know where he's going to be at. You got Horton to transfer in from Miami. You got to know where he's going to be at. We don't have, like, I mean, you're tight end. You know, you got to make sure, you got to keep an eye on all of them. So that's why I say I don't think there is an answer for that. It's going to have to be within the scheme of making sure you have eyes at all times where they're at. Somebody's got to always be somehow, quote unquote, trailing. You got to have like a man zone set up to where if that dude's going somewhere, you got to follow him. Make sure you know where he's at. Matchup zones. Figure out who you got and stay with that dude no matter what, because, yeah, that's where you get cooked.
I agree with you. All right. Last but not least, before I let you tell folks how they can find you on social media, got to put you on the hot seat. Alabama versus Oklahoma prediction. What do you have? I think we both can agree the first team to 23 will probably win the game, but what's the score that you feel comfortable in releasing to us?
My score has been the same. As I look at the analytics and look at a lot of the numbers, I've thrown a lot of that stuff out because this is going to be a very weird game, because it's really the focal point is our defense versus your offense and how that plays out. And so I keep the scores low for me. I'd say, and I love the question in there about how many top 10 defense have we faced on the road? 0. I mean, we played Texas on a neutral site. It's a rivalry game. So to me, that always gets thrown out because it just a rivalry game. It's always weird. Usually when Oklahoma's really good, Texas will come out of nowhere and win. And when they're really bad. And so I throw that out, but their defense is really good, and we were able to handle them, except for our quarterback forgot how to play football that week because he was also coming off thumb surgery, right? 17 days after thumb surgery. So that completely just is like, my boy, Get out there, do something, throw it, be okay.
Yeah.
But so with that being said, my prediction is a very close game. I'm gonna say 23-21. I flip-flop numerous times, but I'm gonna go ahead and be the homer. I'm gonna pick Oklahoma win on a game-winning field goal.
Well, you have the guy to do it for sure.
Yeah, I'll be the homer today. It's okay. Yeah, we need to
and
keep
there's
our
nothing wrong
ownership
with that.
stake in the state of Alabama. Or we got to
Hey,
keep that,
hey.
you know. Hate.
Curious
We got
thing.
to, but no.
Curious thing, Alabama has never beaten Oklahoma in Tuscaloosa.
Yep, that is also the thing. It's funny. Somebody posted in there. They're like, "Wait a minute. Alabama's 4-2 against Oklahoma." Yeah. We've not lost in Tuscaloosa so far, so I just don't know.
And curious enough, I was at the last game that Oklahoma came to Tuscaloosa.
Oh, no 3, nice.
In 03, Shula's first year. That was. I know we came out on the losing side, but that was a hell of a game.
It was a great game, and you saw the potential that Bama had. You start to see it. You saw it all. It's like, oh yeah, they're gonna get back to who they are. They're bringing in the right players. Everything Shula didn't work out, but Saban walked in right there behind it and cleaned up some stuff. By the next season, you're on a run. So that's all you need is to have the right bodies in there, and that's even before the transfer portal. So that was a lot of the Shula players brought in. Plus, Saban was bringing more players in, and Saban just kept acquiring and putting it together with his coaching ability. To me, it felt like when Bob Stoops took the job, when John Blake got fired, rest in peace to him. Blake was fantastic at acquiring talent. Zero clue how to coach. Zero clue.
Right.
And so you got all this talent. You're trying to figure out why the heck are you losing so much? Bob comes in year one, team shows progression or whatnot. But then year two, you go win the Natty. And it's all because, you brought in all the talents there. So you start shifting players into new positions and areas and starting to leverage them, and boom, you saw it. And I think that same thing happened with Saban going there. So that game was awesome. I remember watching it as a kid. And so, I do believe that this game will be a very close battle, and it's the team that makes the least mistakes. I just can't say which one it is right now.
I just wish for once Alabama could have a game that does not cause me anxiety. It seems like every single game this year, it's like we went into a time warp of the old SEC where you're barely winning in these low-scoring games. I miss the joyless murder ball days.
I some days I feel the same, where I wish we could go back to the time when we just blow the doors off of somebody with ease. And because their offense can't keep up, you just continue to blow the doors off of them, that murder ball. But you don't get that nowadays. These defenses are more sophisticated. They're finding ways. It took a few years, but people started figuring out the spread. And so now the spread, offenses, the veers and shoots, like it's just, if you don't have the right, have the right gunslinger, which it seems like we've seen a regression in quarterback play, you ain't gonna have it. It's hard. It's hard right now.
Alabama has yet to play their best game of the season. I think we're capable of more, but for whatever reason, there's some kind of lock. Find the key, figure it out. But in this game, I would be shocked if that's the game where they figure things out. I'm going to go on the same lines as you, man. Alabama 24, Oklahoma 21. This is going to be close. And I'm fully expecting that. I fully expect my blood pressure up. But it's going to be fun. It's while I watch the game. And, this is a playoff game essentially. But now we've come to a close before you jump on that airplane and head to Tuscaloosa. So if you would, Jay, tell the folks how they can find you and be a part of all the great things that you do. If you're not familiar with Unfair Sports, folks, go over there, check out what he's doing, man. It's great stuff. If you're a fan of college football, it needs to be on your watch list.
Yeah. I appreciate that, and I'm going to evolve that into a lot of college football talk here over the next year or so. But you can find me Unfair Sports here on YouTube, as well as wherever podcasts are download, listen to. Follow me on X at Unfair Sports. I'm also over there on Locked On. I do Locked On Sooners, so feel free to check me and my guy John out over there. Me and my guy Coop does Unfair Sports, and we do twice a week podcast, live show, Wednesdays and Sundays. We'll have something after this game. I do a morning after video after every game. I go back and rewatch it in the evening or early in the morning. I go watch key plays and I talk about what happened. And so, come check us out. Looking forward to it. I appreciate it, Justin. Once again, have me over here on the Bama Standard.
Man, it was exciting. We need to have you back on a regular scheduled show. Also,
Yeah.
too, I need a favor from you. If you get a chance to explore some of those places that I mentioned, I need to have your review of them.
Okay.
I need to make sure I led you in the right direction. So
I appreciate it. Absolutely. Shoot me, fans, those in the comments. Feel free to at me on social media at Unfair Sports. I'll make sure to at Bama Standard so you all can post underneath there all the recommendations you have. And like I said, I will make sure to give you guys a review of what I find while I'm roaming around T-Town.
sounds great. I'll remind everyone we will be live immediately following the game for the Bama Standard post-game show. Immediate reactions, probably overreactions, because that's what we do best here in Alabama. And then next Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central, the flagship show, the Bama Standard, will be live. We got a special guest. Alabama legend Landon Collins will be on the panel. So y'all want to come over there and check that out. But yeah, follow us on all social media at the Bama Standard. We're not too hard to find, and definitely follow Jay. Jay, we greatly appreciate you hanging out with us today before you make that trip over to T-Town. Have a great time, brother, and I look forward to hearing all your reviews.
I will. Thank you all once again for having me.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide, everyone.
Boomer Sooner.